Hello everyone, Reza here. In this video, we will learn all about the SharePoint trigger in Power Automate called for a selected item or for a selected file. With very few clicks using some neat options, look at how to conditionally trigger the flow and also have the flow live in a non-default environment. Let's check this video out in action. I have a modern SharePoint list called issue tracking, and I would like to create a flow that the user can trigger for an item that they select in this list. To create this flow, I can head over to Integrate, Power Automate, and create a flow. This will list out some templates that we can leverage to trigger the flow for a selected item in this SharePoint list. Let's select the first template here, which sends a customized email whenever a new item is added in this SharePoint list. You will note that this flow will get created in the default environment of my tenant. If you do not want to use a template and want to create your own flow, I can head over to make.powerautomate.com and create my flow. This flow is an instant cloud flow that will trigger for a selected item in SharePoint. The concept that I'm covering in this video also applies to for a selected file in SharePoint. So I've picked this trigger. I'll create my flow. For a selected item, the address of my SharePoint site, I'll pick my SharePoint site and pick my SharePoint list. I would like to send an email when I select an item and start the flow. I can also add inputs here. So the user who triggers the flow needs to provide this data. There are different types of inputs available. I'll select text. Here, I would like the user to enter the message that they would like to include in the email. And this email, I would like to send out to the person to whom the current item is assigned. I have a person type column called assign to. So right after this action, I'll use the send an email action. Email send to, I'll switch to advanced mode, and from dynamic content, I would like to pick the property assigned to. You will note that for a selected item does not expose all the properties from my SharePoint list. So right before sending the email, I'll use the action get item from SharePoint. Get item, connect to my SharePoint site and SharePoint list. ID, dynamic content, ID coming from the trigger. Get item will expose all the properties that I can use further in my flow. In my case, send an email, switch to advanced mode, dynamic content. Now I can get the email address of the individual to whom that task is currently assigned. Subject, notification for. Here, I'll put the title of the issue. And in the body of the email, dynamic content from the trigger where I added that input called message of type text. I'll select that. That completes my flow. The title of the flow here is extremely important because whatever you name the flow, that is what will appear in SharePoint when the user selects the item to trigger the flow. I'll call it send notification to assigned user. I'll save the flow. The flow is saved. in my default environment. If I head back to the SharePoint list, select an item, head over to Automate, Flows. This will list out all the flows that we can trigger. Here is the flow that we created in the default environment called Send Notification to Assigned User. And if I select this, this is where the panel launches on the right hand side. It's signing me in as the current logged in user to all the connections used in the flow, SharePoint and Outlook. I'll click continue. Here is that message that I need to enter. I'll click run flow. This will trigger the flow and send the email notification to the user to whom the task is assigned, in this case, Sarah. Here is the email notification that Sarah receives. Now, few things here. To trigger the flow, the user has to select the item, go to Automate, Flows, wait, then go pick that flow, and then the panel opens up. That's a lot of clicks to get to this point. What options do we have to reduce the number of clicks? One new option that we have in SharePoint is, if you go to Automate, we have quick steps. I can create a quick step. We have an option to execute a flow. I can give the step a name. I'll call it Send Notification. You can also include emojis here. Flow ID. What's the ID of the flow that's connected to this SharePoint list that I can trigger? Back to my flow, I'll go to the details page of this flow. If you go to export, get flow identifier, simply go ahead and copy this. You can paste that identifier in flow ID and click create. This will create a quick step. Now, if I select an item, go to Automate, one click, right here is Send Notification. I can see that quick step, that's the flow trigger. If I select this, straight out, it launches the flow panel and I can trigger my flow. In SharePoint, we have the concept of column formatting. And one of the advanced formatting options that we have is we can create a button to launch a flow directly from the list view itself. This requires us to enter the following JSON code when formatting the column. The key thing here is the ID of the flow. All we have to do is replace this ID with the ID of our flow. In the SharePoint list, I'll go ahead and create a column of type text. The only reason I'm creating this column is so I can format this column, which will give the user the link to start the flow. I'll give this column a name. You can call this whatever you like. I'm calling this action, single line of text, save. I added a column. If the user was to add an item in this list, that action column would also show up. Not a great user experience. You can always edit the columns of your list and hide that column from the list form. The action column, go to column settings and format this column. Here, go to advanced mode. This is where we can enter the JSON code. This panel may appear small, but here you can click, drag, and increase the width. I'll go to the documentation and straight out copy the JSON go to my column formatting and paste that entire code in here. All I have to do is change the ID. The ID I will grab directly from the flow details page, copy it, and paste it right here. Now at this point, if I click preview, I'll reduce the width. You will note that my action column is formatted. It's a clickable button. Here it says send to manager. That's because in the JSON, there is the text content here that says send to manager. I'll change that to email assigned user. Preview. Here it is. Now I can click save. This will save the JSON formatting. Let's close this. At this point, if I click on this, it will launch the flow panel so I can directly run my flow. This I can do for any item that's selected. Less clicks for the user to trigger the flow. Plus, I have more benefits. Conditionally triggering the flow. I only want to show this option to the user if the status of the issue is in progress. Back to column formatting. Here, under style, I'll add a display property, and here I can add an if condition to check the status. The status column, if I sort on this column, in the URL, I can grab the internal name of the column. That is something that I will need to add an if condition here. My condition is if that status column is it equal to, in single quotes, my value case sensitive in progress. If it is in progress, then you apply the property of display as inherit, else display none. Preview. Notice the flow option now only shows up for those issues where the status is in progress. I'll save this. Now when I click on this button to trigger the flow, there are certain elements here as well in the flow panel that can be customized. For example, this text on the top, run flow, you can change this. Even this button that says run flow, the text can be changed. For this, back to the documentation, we have two properties called header text and run flow button text. Back to action, format this column. In the action parameters, I'll add header text. Here as well, you can add emojis. My header text is send email. And then the run flow button text, I'll set that as send email. I'll save. Now, if I select the action to start the flow, here is the header text and here is the run flow button text, both customized. Now this flow that we've built, it has to live in the default environment in order for this flow to be triggered from SharePoint. True or false? Most folks will say true, but the answer is false. It does not have to live in the default environment. Let me show you how. Here I am on the Power Automate Maker portal in a non-default environment. In my case, an environment called prod. I'll go ahead and create the same flow in this environment. Here's the flow. The title for this one, for the sake of the demo, I'll call it send email non-default environment and save. This flow is triggered manually, connected to that same SharePoint site and same list. In SharePoint, if I select an item, go to Automate, Flows, it will start loading all the flows and list them out, but it will only list the ones that are created in the default environment. The flows not created in your default environment and triggered for a selected item or for a selected file will not list right here. But that does not mean we cannot call it. To call it, all we need is the ID. Here's the flow details. I'll get the flow identifier, copy, back to SharePoint. Automate, quick steps, manage quick steps. This one that I created earlier, which had the flow ID of the flow in my default environment. Now I'll change this. Save. Select an item, automate, send notification. This will launch the flow that is not in my default environment. Here you go. The same thing I can do for my JSON formatting. All I have to do here is replace the ID. Done. Now if I select, this is going to launch the flow that is not in my default environment. And just to prove it, I'll trigger the flow that lives in a non-default environment. The flow got triggered from the SharePoint list. Always make sure that for flows that are being triggered for a selected file or a selected item in SharePoint, whether in default or non-default, run only users, go to edit. Here, you can define which connections run under which account. By default, the connections run under the account of the user, triggering the flow. You may have scenarios where you want to run certain connections under the account of the user who has created the flow. In this case, Reza. So I can go ahead and do that. So you can kind of run actions of the flow under an elevated account, an account that has higher privileges if required. Plus, you should go to SharePoint, pick your SharePoint site, your SharePoint list, and add this, because if you don't do this, then the users who have access to that SharePoint list will not be able to run the flow if they are not given this permission. It's basically giving the users the privilege to trigger the flow. Make sure you hit save. So now the users who have access to that SharePoint list will be able to run this flow. They can only run it. They cannot modify the flow. The only individual or individuals who can modify the flow are the owners and any co-owners that you define. If you enjoyed this video, then do like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you so much for watching.